Imagine living a peaceful and routine life, until an unexpected encounter changes everything. Carlos, a 60-year-old widower, opens the door of his home and his heart to Ana, a young woman expelled by her own family. They form an unbreakable bond, but one day, the police come knocking and Carlos discovers something that turns his world upside down. What could have happened? Stay till the end to discover this emotional story of trust, betrayal, and redemption. Carlos, a 75-year-old widower, lived a peaceful life in a small town. His daily routine was filled with simple pleasures he enjoyed, tending to his garden, reading his favorite books, and visiting the local cafe for coffee and conversation with friends. Life was calm, but also lonely, especially after the death of his beloved wife. Despite the loneliness, Carlos found peace in the small things of everyday life. On a rainy afternoon, Carlos was returning from the cafe when he spotted a young woman sitting on a bench in the plaza, completely drenched and in tears. His heart ached at the sight. He hesitated for a moment, but the vision of the helpless girl made him decide to approach her. With cautious steps, he approached and asked, "Are you all right, my dear? Do you need help?" The young woman, named Ana, looked up at him, her eyes brimming with tears. I've been kicked out of my home. I have nowhere to go," she said, trying to control her sobs. Carlos felt a lump in his throat hearing her words. He knew he couldn't leave her there, alone and helpless. "Come with me, I'll take you to my home," Carlos said gently, extending his hand. Ana hesitated for a moment, but the kindness in Carlos' eyes made her trust him. She took his hand and stood up, feeling a glimmer of hope. Together, they walked through the rain to Carlos' house, where he welcomed her with a warm blanket and a cup of tea. As soon as they entered Carlos' cozy home, he led her to the living room, where she could warm up by the fireplace. "You can stay here as long as you need," Carlos said. "Don't worry about anything." Ana, still a bit wary, thanked him with a shy smile. She wasn't used to such kindness, especially from a stranger. Carlos realized that Ana needed time to calm down. He brought her a towel to dry her hair and offered some dry clothes from his late wife's wardrobe. "They may not be the most modern, but they'll keep you warm," he said with a smile. Ana accepted the offer gratefully, feeling a bit more at ease. While Ana changed, Carlos prepared a hot soup for her. He knew a good meal could help soothe her nerves. When Ana returned to the living room, dressed in the dry clothes, the aroma of the soup seemed to fill the house with a comforting warmth. They sat at the table, and Carlos encouraged her to eat. "You must be famished," he said, offering her a bowl. As Ana ate, she began to open up a little more. "My family doesn't accept my choices," she confessed, looking down at her soup. "They think I'm bringing shame to everyone." Carlos listened attentively, his heart aching again. He knew how difficult it was to feel rejected by those who should love you unconditionally. "I understand," Carlos said softly. "Sometimes, people can't see beyond their own beliefs. But you're not alone now. You can count on me." Ana lifted her eyes, meeting Carlos' gentle gaze. For the first time in a long while, she felt she could trust someone. After dinner, Carlos showed the guest room to Ana. "It's simple, but I hope you'll feel comfortable here," he said. Ana thanked him again, feeling increasingly grateful for Carlos' generosity. She lay down on the bed, feeling safe and welcomed, something she hadn't felt in a long time. Carlos, in turn, retired to his own room, reflecting on the unexpected day. He felt good about having helped Ana, but was also aware of the responsibility he had taken on. However, something inside him told him he had done the right thing. And so, on that rainy night, two lonely lives began to find a new purpose. Anna settled into Carlos' home and, little by little, got used to the new routine. In exchange for the hospitality, she helped with household chores, cleaning the house and tending to the garden. Carlos appreciated the help and was happy to have someone around. They began to get to know each other better, sharing stories and experiences as they carried out their daily tasks. "You're very talented in the garden," commented Carlos, watching Anna prune the rose bushes. "Did you learn that on your own?" Anna smiled, feeling proud. "My grandmother taught me when I was a child. She had a beautiful garden." Carlos nodded, appreciating her dedication. "It seems your grandmother was a wise woman." In the evenings, after dinner, they would sit in the living room and talk about their lives. "I've always loved to draw," said Anna, with a sparkle in her eyes. "But my parents thought it was a waste of time. They wanted me to be a lawyer or a doctor." Carlos shook his head sympathetically. "It's a shame they don't understand your passion. Art is a wonderful form of expression." Carlos, in turn, shared his memories. "My wife, Maria, was the light of my life," he said, with a sad smile. "When she was gone, I felt a huge void. Tending to the garden and reading my books helped me move forward." Anna listened attentively, feeling his pain. "It must have been very difficult," she said softly. She seemed like an amazing person. Over time, the relationship between them grew stronger. Carlos began to see Anna as the daughter he never had. "You remind me a lot of Maria," he said one day while they were having breakfast. "She was also full of life and had a huge heart." Anna was moved by his words. "I'm glad to hear that, Carlos. You're like a father to me." Anna brought a new sense of joy to Carlos' home. She began to decorate the house with her drawings and paintings, filling the once empty rooms with color and life. "These paintings are beautiful," praised Carlos. "You have an incredible talent, Anna." She smiled, proud. "Thank you. I'm glad you like them. I wanted to make the house more cheerful." In addition to the household chores, Anna also helped Carlos organize his books and sort through old documents. "Your book collection is impressive," she said, while stacking some volumes. "I've always loved reading, but never had so much time for it." Carlos smiled. "You can take any book you want. Reading is a great companion." The days passed quickly, and their shared routine brought them even closer together. "Shall we go to the market together today?" asked Anna. "Of course, that's a good idea," replied Carlos. "We can take a walk in the plaza too." They went together, chatting and laughing, enjoying each other's company. Carlos felt rejuvenated by Anna's presence. "Having you here makes all the difference," he said as they walked through the park. "My life was so empty before." Anna smiled, touched by his words. "I feel the same way. You gave me a home when I needed it most." In the evenings, after a long day of tasks and conversations, they would sit on the porch to watch the stars. "It's as if life has given us a second chance," said Carlos, looking up at the sky. "Yes," agreed Anna. "And I'm so grateful for that." They sat in silence, appreciating the serenity of the moment. The new living arrangement brought a new purpose to both of them. Carlos no longer felt so lonely, and Anna found a place where she could be herself. "Let's keep taking care of each other," said Carlos, holding her hand. "Yes," replied Anna, smiling. "Together, we are stronger." And so they continued, building a new life together, day by day. Over time, the friendship between Carlos and Anna became even deeper. They developed a pleasant routine, full of shared moments and laughter. "Carlos, I promise I will never hurt you," said Anna one day, firmly holding his hand. "You gave me a new chance, and I'm eternally grateful." Carlos smiled, touched by her sincerity. The two began to take regular walks in the park. "Look, Carlos, that lake is so beautiful," said Anna, pointing to the water shimmering in the sun. "Yes, it's truly gorgeous," he replied, feeling rejuvenated by her joy. Walking together became a ritual, a way to appreciate the small beauties of life. The afternoons of reading on the porch were another special moment for both of them. "Today, I'll read a passage from my favorite book for you," announced Anna, holding an old copy of a classic novel. "I love to hear you read," said Carlos, settling into his chair. Anna's soothing voice filled the air, and Carlos felt more alive than ever. Carlos noticed that his happiness was directly linked to Anna's presence. "You've brought light into my life," he confessed on a sunny afternoon. "I was so lonely before you came." Anna smiled, moved. "And you gave me a home, a place where I can be myself." Carlos encouraged Anna to pursue her dreams, something he knew was important to her. "Don't give up on your art," he said firmly. "You have incredible talent, and the world needs to see it." Anna felt a wave of determination. "Thank you, Carlos. Your support means everything to me." Anna began to devote herself more to her art, inspired by Carlos' words. "Look, I made this painting for you," she said, handing him a vibrant painting of a flowering garden. "It's beautiful, Anna," he replied, moved. "I'll hang it in the living room. That way, I'll always remember your talent and our friendship." The moments together became the best part of the day for both of them. "Shall we have a picnic in the park today?" suggested Anna. "Great idea," agreed Carlos. "I'll prepare some sandwiches." They spent the afternoon laughing and talking, enjoying the simplicity of outdoor life. Carlos felt more rejuvenated and happy with each passing day. "You've brought a new energy to this house," he said as they tended the garden together. "And you gave me a home," replied Anna, planting a new flower. "We make a good team, don't we?" Carlos laughed. "Yes, we do." Anna felt increasingly confident with Carlos' support. "I'm going to participate in an art exhibition," she announced one day, full of enthusiasm. "That's wonderful, Anna," exclaimed Carlos, proud. "I'll be there cheering for you." Anna smiled, feeling more determined than ever. The bonds of affection between them grew stronger over time. "You're like a daughter to me," said Carlos, his eyes brimming with emotion. "And you're like a father to me," responded Anna, embracing him. They sat in silence for a moment, feeling the depth of the connection they had built. The lives of Carlos and Anna continued to intertwine in unexpected and wonderful ways. "Let's keep taking care of each other," said Anna, holding his hand. "Yes," agreed Carlos, smiling. "Together, we are stronger and happier." And so they moved forward, building a future filled with mutual care and support. Anna was having coffee in the kitchen when the mailman left a mysterious letter at the door. "Who still sends letters these days?" she thought, curious. Upon opening the envelope, she recognized the handwriting of Lucas, her childhood friend. "Anna, I'm in trouble. I need your help. Meet me at our usual spot," the message said. She felt a chill in her stomach as she read those words. "Lucas, what have you gotten yourself into now?" she murmured, worried. She knew he always had a talent for getting into trouble, but she never imagined something so serious. "Fraud. This is too much," she thought, biting her lip. Anna was torn between loyalty to her friend and the promise she made to Carlos to never hurt him. That night, as they were having dinner, Anna tried to hide her restlessness. "Are you all right, Anna?" asked Carlos, noticing her distant expression. "I'm fine, just a bit tired," she replied, forcing a smile. She knew she couldn't tell him the truth. She didn't want to worry him with another problem. After dinner, Anna went upstairs to her room and reread the letters several times. "I need to help Lucas, but how can I do this without Carlos finding out?" she thought, distressed. She decided that the best way would be to act secretly. "I'll meet Lucas tomorrow and see what I can do," she decided, determined. The next morning, Anna made up an excuse to leave the house. "Carlos, I'm going to the city center to take care of a few things," she said, trying to sound casual. "Okay, Anna. Do you need anything?" he asked gently. "No, thank you. I shouldn't be long," she replied, feeling a weight on her heart for hiding the truth. Arriving at the agreed-upon location, Anna found Lucas sitting on a bench, looking worn down. "Anna, I'm so glad you came," he said, relieved to see her. "Lucas, what's going on? What's this story about fraud?" she asked, worried. He sighed, running his hand through his hair. "It was a mistake, Anna. I got involved with the wrong people and now I'm in a mess." She listened to Lucas' story attentively, trying to think of a solution. "You need to go to the police," she suggested, but he shook his head. "I can't, Anna. They threatened my family. I need to find a way out of this without involving the police." She bit her lip, trying to imagine a plan. "What if we get the evidence against them? We could try to negotiate." Lucas seemed desperate, but Anna's idea gave him a glimmer of hope. "Do you think we could manage that?" he asked, his eyes full of expectation. "Yes, but we need to be careful. I don't want you or anyone else to get hurt," she responded, determined. "Let's start by gathering all the information you have about them." Anna spent the night awake, thinking about the plan and how to execute it without Carlos suspecting anything. "It's going to be difficult, but I have to do this for Lucas," as she thought, determined. The next day, she began to meet with Lucas regularly, collecting evidence and planning the next steps. Carlos noticed that Anna was more absent, but she always had a ready excuse. "You've been very busy lately," he commented one night over dinner. "Yes, some personal matters to take care of," she responded, trying not to sound nervous. He nodded, but the concern was clear in his eyes. Finally, after weeks of secret meetings and sleepless nights, Anna and Lucas managed to gather enough evidence. "We have everything we need. Now we just need to hand this over to the right authorities," said Anna, exhausted but relieved. "Anna, I don't know how to thank you," said Lucas, tears in his eyes. "You saved my life." Anna knew the secret couldn't last forever, but at least now Lucas was safe. "Let's hand this over and be done with this story," she said, determined. "Then I'll explain everything to Carlos. He'll understand." And with that determination, Anna moved forward, ready to face the consequences of her actions. Anna was nervous as she met with Lucas in a discreet cafe in the city. "We need to forge these documents to prove your innocence," said Lucas, looking around to make sure no one was listening. "I know this is risky, but we have no other choice," responded Anna, her voice trembling. They spent the next few hours planning every detail of the plan. The next day, Anna met with a forger recommended by Lucas. "Are you sure he's reliable?" she asked, hesitant. "Yes, he's helped me before," Lucas assured her. The forger, a man with a suspicious appearance, accepted the job without asking too many questions, leaving Anna even more nervous. As the documents were being prepared, Anna and Lucas tried to stay calm. "This has to work," murmured Anna, looking at Lucas. "It will work, Anna. Trust me," he responded, trying to sound confident. The tension between them was palpable, but they both knew there was no turning back. When the documents were finally ready, Anna and Lucas met in an empty parking lot to pick up the material. "Here it is," said the forger, handing over a folder full of papers. "I hope you know what you're doing." Anna thanked him quickly and moved away, feeling the weight of the upcoming actions on her shoulders. But things started to go wrong soon after. Lucas was apprehended by undercover police officers before he even had a chance to use the forged documents. "Lucas, what are we going to do now?" asked Anna, desperate, when she heard of his arrest. "I don't know, Anna. I'm so scared," he responded, with tears in his eyes. In a moment of desperation, Lucas made a deal with the police to try to reduce his sentence. "I can turn in Anna as an accomplice," he said, feeling like a traitor. "She helped me forge the documents." The police accepted the offer, and soon they were searching for Anna. She didn't know that Lucas had betrayed her. Anna tried to flee to avoid being arrested, but she knew she didn't have much time. "I need to get out of here," she thought, grabbing a few things quickly and leaving through the back door. Her heart was racing as she ran through the dark streets, not looking back. Her only thought was to find a safe place. She decided to hide at Carlos' house, hoping he could help her. "Carlos, I need your help." "It's urgent," she said, panting as she arrived. "Anna, what happened?" he asked, worried. "I can't explain now. I just need to hide," she pleaded, with tears in her eyes. Carlos, not understanding the gravity of the situation, agreed to help her. "Okay, Anna. Stay here," he said, trying to calm her down. But the police were already on her trail. "They won't leave me alone," Anna whispered, feeling despair taking over. "Trust me, we'll find a solution," said Carlos, holding her hand. Soon after, the police tracked Anna down to Carlos' house. "Anna, you're surrounded. Come out with your hands up," yelled one of the officers outside. "Carlos, I can't go to prison," she said, panicked. "Calm down, Anna. We'll work this out," he tried to reassure her, but he was scared himself. Out of options, Anna went out the front door with her hands raised. "I'm innocent," she said, her voice wavering. "We'll sort this out at the police station," responded one of the officers as they handcuffed her. Carlos watched it all, perplexed and not knowing how to help. "Anna, I'll do everything I can to help you," he promised as they took her away. On the way to the police station, Anna thought about how her life had been turned upside down. How did everything go so wrong, she asked herself, feeling betrayed and desperate. She knew she faced a long road ahead, but the hope of proving her innocence still gave her strength. And, above all, she trusted that Carlos wouldn't abandon her. Carlos was at home, having his breakfast, when he heard a loud knock on the door. Who could it be so early, he thought, getting up to answer. When he opened the door, he found two serious-looking police officers. "Good morning, sir. We're here to talk about Anna," said one of them. Carlos felt his stomach churn. "What happened? Is she all right?" he asked, concerned. The officers explained the situation, leaving Carlos in shock. "Anna is involved in a case of document forgery and fraud," said the officer. "That's impossible. Anna would never do something like that," responded Carlos, incredulous. "Unfortunately, we have evidence and we need to take her in," the officer continued. Carlos felt his world crumbling at the news. Meanwhile, Anna, her eyes red from crying, was handcuffed and taken outside. "Carlos, I'm sorry," she said, her voice wavering. Please, listen to me. Carlos, with a broken heart, couldn't believe what he was seeing. How could you, Anna? Everything we lived, was it all a lie? He asked, feeling betrayed. Anna tried to explain, but the words wouldn't come. I never wanted to hurt you, she said, between sobs. I just wanted to help a friend. Carlos shook his head, feeling a deep pain in his chest. Help. Look where that's gotten you. And me as well, he responded, with tears in his eyes. The pain was unbearable. As Anna was being taken away, Carlos stood at the door, feeling lost. This is all a nightmare, he thought, trying to process the situation. The image of Anna being led away in handcuffs wouldn't leave his mind. What do I do now? He questioned, feeling a vast emptiness. He felt betrayed and desolate, as if he had lost everything all over again. Carlos' pain was deep, reliving the loss of his wife. Why is this happening again? He thought, remembering how he had struggled to overcome her death. Anna was my safe haven, and now, this. He sat on the sofa, holding his head in his hands, trying to find a way out of the whirlwind of emotions. On the way to the police station, Anna couldn't stop crying. I just wanted to help Lucas, and now everything is destroyed, she thought, feeling guilty. Carlos will never forgive me, she murmured, desolate. She knew her actions had grave consequences, but she never imagined it would come to this. Carlos, at home, paced back and forth, trying to think of what to do. I need to talk to a lawyer, he decided, picking up the phone. But who? He felt completely lost, not knowing who to trust. Anna, why didn't you tell me? He questioned out loud, feeling betrayed and confused. He called a lawyer friend, trying to explain the situation. Carlos, I'll do my best to help, but we need more information, said the friend. Thank you, anything you can do, I'd be grateful, responded Carlos, trying to keep calm. But inside, he was in pieces. Deep down, Carlos still had feelings for Anna, which made everything even more painful. I need to know the truth, he thought, determined to find out what really happened. She deserves a chance to explain herself, but can I ever forgive her? The doubt gnawed at his mind as he tried to find a way forward. Meanwhile, at the police station, Anna waited for her turn to be interrogated. Carlos will hate me forever, she thought, feeling crushed by guilt. I need a chance to explain everything, she told herself, trying to maintain hope. And so, both of them found themselves in a deep dilemma, trying to understand how their lives had intersected in such a tragic way. The day of the trial arrived, and Anna was nervous. Sitting in the defendant's chair, she looked down at the floor, trying to find strength. Anna, you need to be strong, she thought, trying to maintain her composure. When the judge entered the room, everyone stood up, and the atmosphere became even tenser. Carlos entered the courthouse, feeling a knot in his stomach. I can't believe I'm here, he muttered to himself as he looked for a place to sit. He spotted Anna in the defendant's chair and a mix of anger and sadness washed over him. How could she do this to us, he thought, trying to understand his own feelings. The prosecutor began to present the case, detailing how Anna was involved in the document forgery. Anna Silva, you helped Lucas forge important documents, putting the integrity of many people at risk, the prosecutor said, pointing at her. Carlos felt each word like a dagger in his heart. Why did she do this, he thought, trying to find a reason. Then, Anna's defense started to explain her version of the story. Anna acted under pressure, trying to help a friend in need, the lawyer said, trying to soften her image. She never intended to harm anyone. Carlos listened attentively, wanting to know more about the pressure they were talking about. During Anna's testimony, she revealed how Lucas emotionally manipulated her. "He was like a brother to me," she said, with tears in her eyes. "I never would have imagined that he would put me in this situation." Carlos felt a pang of empathy, but the anger was still there. "Is she telling the truth?" he questioned, struggling with his conflicting feelings. Anna continued, detailing the threats Lucas made to convince her to help. "He said that if I didn't help, something terrible would happen," she explained, sobbing. "I was scared and didn't know what to do." Carlos started to see the situation in a new light. Maybe she was truly in an impossible position, he thought, beginning to doubt his anger. The prosecutor didn't let up and questioned Anna's naivety. "Did you really expect nothing to happen if you got caught?" he asked, pointedly. "I was desperate," Anna responded, trying to remain calm. "I did what I thought was right at the time." Carlos saw her internal struggle and wondered if he would have acted differently in her shoes. The defense brought in witnesses who confirmed the relationship between Anna and Lucas. "They were inseparable," said a friend of both of them. "Lucas always knew how to manipulate Anna." Carlos felt a tightness in his heart. She was trapped in a trap, he thought, starting to question his own reaction. Was I unfair to her? As the trial progressed, Carlos began to see Anna in a different light. She was a victim of circumstances, he thought, feeling the anger transform into sadness. But still, she lied to me. The duality of his feelings left him confused. How can I trust her again? He asked himself, trying to find an answer. In the end, the judge announced that the verdict would be given the following day. "The court is adjourned for today," the judge said, banging the gavel. Anna was taken back to her cell, while Carlos left the courthouse, lost in thought. "I need time to process all of this," he muttered, walking through the city streets. Carlos couldn't sleep that night, thinking about everything he had heard. She suffered as much as I did, he thought, feeling the weight of the situation. But how do we move forward after all of this? He knew the path would be long and difficult, but one thing was certain, he needed answers. And perhaps, a little forgiveness. Carlos returned home, physically and emotionally exhausted. He threw himself on the sofa, staring fixedly at the ceiling, reliving every moment of the trial. How did it all come to this? He murmured to himself. The silence of the house seemed to scream his doubts and uncertainties, making him feel even more lost. After a while, he got up and started walking around the house. Every corner had a memory of Anna, from the kitchen where they cooked together to the living room where they watched movies. That's when he saw an old box in the corner of the bedroom. Anna's diaries, he remembered, with a lump in his throat. He hesitated for a moment before deciding to open the box. As he leafed through the diaries, Carlos found letters and drawings that Anna had made for him. Each page was filled with words of love, shared dreams, and promises. She really loved me, he thought, feeling a wave of emotions. He held a particular letter, written the night they met. "Carlos, you are my safe haven," the letter said, with her trembling handwriting. Carlos felt the tears roll down his face as he read Anna's words. "She's always cared for me," he whispered, drying his eyes. He continued to read, finding more letters where Anna described her internal struggles and the pressure she felt. "I want to protect Carlos from everything," she wrote in one of the diaries. "But sometimes, I feel like I'm failing." As he read more, Carlos began to understand the complexity of the choices Anna had made. She was trying to keep her promise, despite it all, he thought, feeling a tightness in his heart. He found drawings she had made, depicting the happy moments they had shared together. Each stroke showed how much she valued those moments. She really fought, he acknowledged. Carlos spent hours reading and reflecting on everything he had found. She was in an impossible position, he thought, trying to imagine what he would have done in her place. He saw Anna's desperate attempts to protect them both from a greater disaster. She did what she thought was right, he concluded, beginning to feel an impulse to forgive her. The day passed quickly as Carlos was immersed in the diaries. Maybe I was too harsh, he thought, feeling the pain of the betrayal begin to transform into compassion. He remembered all the times Anna had been by his side, supporting him unconditionally. Does she deserve a second chance? He asked himself, trying to find an answer in his heart. As the night fell, Carlos decided to go for a walk and clear his mind. Each step felt lighter now that he was beginning to understand Anna's motivations. I need to talk to her, he decided, feeling a new determination growing within him. But first, I need to be sure of my feelings. He knew it would be a long process, but he was willing to try. When he returned home, Carlos looked once more at the box of diaries. These pages tell a story of love and sacrifice, he thought, carefully putting everything back. He lay down on the bed, feeling more at peace than he had in the last few weeks. Anna, I understand a little more now, he said out loud, as if she could hear him. Carlos didn't have all the answers, but he felt he was on the right path. Forgiveness is not forgetting, he reflected. But it's understanding and moving forward. He knew the journey would be difficult, but he was willing to try. Anna, I'm going to fight for us, he promised himself, determined to take the first step the next day. With the dawn, Carlos felt renewed and clearer about his feelings. Today, I'm going to visit Anna, he decided, feeling a mix of nervousness and hope. He knew the conversation wouldn't be easy, but he was ready to face the truth head-on. Maybe, together, we can find a way, he thought, as he prepared to leave. Carlos spent months reflecting on everything that had happened. Finally, he decided it was time to visit Anna in prison. The journey there was long and full of thoughts. Will she even want to see me? He murmured to himself as he walked through the cold corridors. When he finally arrived in the visitation room, his heart was racing. Anna entered the room with a weary look, but there was still a glimmer of hope in her eyes. Carlos, she said, surprised to see him. I didn't expect you to come. He felt a lump in his throat, seeing her in that situation. Anna, I needed to come, he responded, struggling to maintain his composure. We need to talk. Carlos sat down across from Anna, and for a moment, they both remained silent. I've thought a lot about everything, he began, his voice trembling. And I understand why you did what you did. Anna looked at him, surprised and emotional. Carlos, I'm so sorry for everything, she said, with tears in her eyes. I never wanted to hurt you. With tears in his eyes, Carlos held Anna's hands. I forgive you, Anna, he said, his voice cracking. I understand that you were under a lot of pressure. Anna began to cry, feeling an enormous weight lifted from her shoulders. Thank you, Carlos, she said, sobbing. I thought I would never hear that from you. Carlos gently wiped away Anna's tears. I promise I'll help you with your rehabilitation, he said, determined. You won't go through this alone. Anna smiled through her tears, feeling a new hope growing within her. I'll do everything to rebuild my life, she promised. I won't let you down again. The two spent hours talking about the future and the plans for when Anna was released from prison. I want to go back to school, Anna said, her eyes shining. Maybe something related to helping others. Carlos nodded, feeling his heart swell with pride. I'll be by your side every step of the way, he assured her. You'll make it. Carlos left the prison that day with a lighter heart. I found a new purpose, he thought, feeling a renewed energy. He knew the journey would be long, but he was ready to face any challenge. Together, we'll overcome everything, he said to himself, full of hope. The following days were filled with planning and preparation. Carlos started researching rehabilitation programs and study opportunities for Anna. She deserves a second chance, he thought, as he made notes. He felt more motivated than ever, with a clear purpose in mind. When he returned to visit Anna, he brought encouraging news. I found an educational program that can help you, he said, handing her some brochures. Anna looked at the papers with enthusiasm. Carlos, this is amazing, she said, emotional. Thank you for everything you're doing for me. He smiled, feeling closer to her than ever before. Over time, Anna began to participate in the programs recommended by Carlos. Each of her achievements was a victory for both of them. You're doing so well, Carlos praised her during one of the visits. I'm so proud of you. Anna smiled, feeling increasingly confident. I couldn't have done it without you, she responded, grateful for all the support. The path was not easy, but Anna's determination and Carlos' unconditional support made all the difference. The power of forgiveness and true friendship can overcome any adversity, Carlos thought, seeing Anna bloom more each day. Together, they found a new strength and purpose, proving that love and forgiveness are truly powerful. Finally, the day Anna was released arrived. Carlos was there, waiting for her with a warm smile. Welcome back, he said, embracing her. Now, let's start this new journey together. Anna smiled, feeling stronger than ever. Yes, together, she replied, full of hope for the future. And so ends the thrilling journey of Carlos and Anna, a story of love, trust, and challenges. What did you think of this surprising twist? Leave your comment below, we want to hear your opinion. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more incredible stories like this one. Until next time.